little Marks of Long Island back at it once again as a trio, and one of us as a brand new father. Justin, before this podcast starts, me and Cora got to throw our congratulations to Lil Mason. How's it feeling as a first time dad?
I did obviously listen to the last podcast as I edited it, and I heard you guys with the shout out to me, Maria, and Mason, which was awesome. It's great. Everyone's doing great. Healthy mama, healthy baby. You guys saw him prior. He made a little guest appearance before we went live. Yeah, it's crazy. The love that you end up feeling for this little human so quickly is crazy. And I can't wait to bring him to his first WWE show. I can't wait. Hopefully you guys will be there. I'm just ready to be back. I'm happy to be back, and let's get involved.
Little 1 month old Mason's going to Saturday night main event
Yeah,
on Long Island, baby.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that one.
You'd probably be the youngest attendee by a mile.
But I have some big earmuffs on his ears.
Definitely the big earmuffs, no doubt.
But yeah, I kind of want to start off with Court and I went real in depth last week. Women's wrestling in WWE, like big time. You know, we were calling for it. You as well, Justin, 2 weeks ago. Women's Intercontinental Championship announced on Raw. But the one thing that irked me when this happened was they had one of those like before Raw started and then they showed it. Like, are they already putting this Women's Intercontinental title in the back seat? Like, that's how you're going to start off showing it?
I don't know. It's tough with the two. Like we speak about 2 hours and not having enough airtime for everything. Like obviously, I guess they had it planned because they had the title ready, but I don't know. It's tough to cram in a lot in 2 hours, and they had obviously a lot to put on. So I think they kind of went the whole route of what KO and Cody did with the heel turn, how they just left it to social media to do its thing and spread like wildfire. And that's what happened. Does it suck? Like that's how I found out, was through social media. So, I mean, it worked. I hope they do a tournament, just like they did with the United States title. And this is what they needed, just, I hope, with the 3 hours, because now there's a lot of titles. There's a lot of championships to go around. So you just got to be able to make sure that you have airtime for everything that needs airtime.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is weird the way that they just did it social media. But now that you say the Kevin and Cody thing, it does make a little more sense. I mean, we've been talking about Intercontinental Championship for women for it feels like forever now, since they announced the, Women's United States Championship. I just hope, like we said last week, me and Ty went into a whole tirade, so I'm not gonna redo that, but just hope that it's done right and they start focusing more on these, women's championships and make sure it's given the appropriate amount of time.
Yeah, and this is a pro Chelsea Green podcast, as is known on social media, on X. Justin knows she's commenting or tweeting out our tweets, and we all know that's our candidate for the first ever Women's United States Champion.
No doubt.
Who is our candidate for the first Intercontinental Women's Champion?
For me, I want to kind of see. So, I want to see a feel-good story of like Dakota Kai. She has had a long road of some brutal, devastating injuries. And they did give her that vignette of like her coming back. And clearly, you have Damage Control now as a face faction. And I think she would be a great feel-good story to become the first champion. I heard you guys last week saying you might want someone who is experienced, obviously, like a veteran like Bayley. So, I mean, you could think of a number of the veteran women in the locker room that could hold that title first, but I'm definitely pulling for Dakota Kai. I would just love to see that.
I want Zelina Vega. That's who I want. I mean, look back to Puerto Rico when her and Rhea Ripley faced off and the reaction behind her. And she's got the talent. She's got the social media presence. I mean, speaking of Dakota Kai, on, I don't know if it's Twitch or their podcast. I don't really follow it too much, but like they're super entertaining. They both have a hell of a background in professional wrestling. So they both, I think for them, sky's the limit would be a great start for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And I think she deserves it. She was the first ever, queen of the ring. And then she didn't even get to, defend that honor and that title for herself. So for me, like, that is one way to, like, kind of give your graces for like, hey, we did you wrong for the Women's King of the Ring the second time around. Why not give her the Women's Intercontinental Championship?
I mean, Zelina Vega, like you just said, she's a great choice. And I think I forget who brought it up, but it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago where we said Triple H is giving free reign to these superstars to kind of control their characters, even on social media. And like you just said, she's another one of those, like Karrion Kross, taking full advantage of trying to push and move storylines on social media. So, I mean, having Ray in her corner, I think that would be a pretty cool. And she's a good performer. Like her back in NXT with Andrade, like her Karanas and everything. She can go. She can definitely go.
Yeah, I think you guys have 2 really good picks. I'm gonna take kind of something we spoke about last week, like with Bayley. I could see like Becky Lynch coming back and becoming like the first ever, just because, she comes back, been gone for a while now, just fresh gold. You give it to an experienced person like that. Not the fun answer, but sometimes you need the veteran presence.
I totally forgot about Becky, to be completely honest with you. I know she's coming back. I know she teased, like, you think like that's the way I'm going to go out, is to Dominic and Mysterio doing whatever to me. Like, but to be honest, she hasn't even crossed my mind, Becky Lynch.
She's getting that Netflix deal. She's coming back.
The fact that she hasn't even crossed our minds, though, shows how strong that woman's division truly is.
Yeah, we won't go down too like far of a rabbit hole like last week, but I was talking to one of my friends at work today, Alan, and I was rattling off like, because do you think they bring up NXT women? I'm like, nah, dude, that roster is already stacked. Like NXT's women's roster is stacked, but also like the Raw and SmackDown roster is completely stacked. So I mean, I wouldn't be opposed Becky Lynch becoming the first ever, women's Intercontinental champion. That'll cement the legacy of that title. But a lot of people are gonna be yelling more Becky Hogan all over social media.
Oh yeah, like I said, it's not the fun answer. I mean, I love Becky Lynch. So do I. Get the Hogan comparison and all the bull crap, but you need someone sturdy to hold that title in the beginning. Couldn't think of a better name. Especially, it does free up keeps the world title away from her for a little while. Helps build the mid card more. Who knows? Yeah.
And I kind of want to keep continuing down the Raw road, because one huge thing that I really got behind, this has been weeks and weeks and weeks of build up. And, it was a little weird to me. Like, I get what they were doing, and they're setting this up for the New Day, celebration next week on Raw. But that implosion, man, first off, Kofi Kingston coming out with the Goku gear, and then Xavier Woods in the Goku black gear. Like, you already see the yin and the yang they're trying to portray. And that promo, them storming up the ramp, backstage, the shade they were throwing. We got Brock Lesnar mentioned about Kofi losing Kofi Mania, and how, Xavier and E handed it to him, and then the back and forth about how reckless Xavier Woods is. I was pumped. The emotion behind it, the anger behind it, like, they were shooting, man. It was great, and it was fun to see. Following Kofi afterwards, all angry, kicking trash cans and stuff. Like, next week, Monday night, is going to be insane. I can't wait to see how it unfolds. How did you guys feel like watching that moment? Because for me, I love the direction this is going, and I think that both of them are going to explode after this.
Dude, it was real. Dude, just hearing the crowd, even like after like a burn, like they're like, oh, like he did not just say that. Like, dude, it was real. It was awesome. And I'm sure, like, just knowing how close of friends they are, like the fact that one of them didn't like smirk or anything, like, just shows how good they actually are at their jobs. Like, they are true professionals where they're just throwing jabs at each other left and right. They are digging at each other to make this real. And I mean, I kind of hope Xavier Woods like drops that name when he becomes a heel and he goes back to Austin Creed. I think that would be really cool. Like, go back to your roots. But my God, they were throwing haymakers at each other with the words.
I think it was probably something that they've been dying to do for years. You know, as great as New Day has been, you know, what is it, the 10th anniversary on Monday?
Yeah.
It feels like it's the 100th. I feel like they've been around for so long.
It's true.
And you can only be, you know, saddled with people for so long. They're probably dying for some kind of singles run, you know, with each other. Like, you know, Kofi's had his run and Big E's had his run and Xavier nothing really singles wise, like they had said in the promo. So they're probably just like, we are going to kill this. We are going to make sure that they keep this hot. You know, we're going to do everything we can to keep this angle, you know, about us, for us. I thought it was awesome. Again, so real.
Let me ask you guys. I want to know. Obviously, 10-year reunion for them. I think Big E will be there on TV for the first, like, WWE television for the first time since, you know, I mean, in the ring. Yeah, in a ring since the next. I mean, I know he's been on like the panels and everything, but he should be in the ring on Monday night. How do you think they go the route of him taking like one or two bumps from Xavier Woods with like maybe a chair shot to the back and like targeting the neck, like not in a super safe way, but the heel heat that Xavier Woods would get for attacking Big E's neck? Like, do you think that's the route that they're about to go? Because I think Xavier's about to snap.
I think it's a possibility, but also, you know, it'd be interesting because at the end of the day, like, you know, you can argue that Xavier Woods' points are valid. Kofi told him he was the quarterback. Kofi's now listening to the quarterback. What if Kofi becomes the heel and Xavier's looked at as the guy who was like honest, brutally honest, just trying to like show his point, and then Kofi can't handle it because his ego is too fucking big, so he becomes the heel over Xavier.
That's an interesting point too.
I mean, the only reason why I think they go with Xavier is because Karrion Kross has been in his head. Yeah. But that, dude, if Kofi Kingston turned heel, I don't think he's ever been a heel in his life. Like,
I mean, look at his moment on Raw. Have you ever seen Kofi mad like that? It was like circa 2000, what, 8, 9, when it was him and Randy doing that feud when he was still in that Jamaican gimmick. It's like that was the last time I saw like Kofi Kingston mad. And now it's how many years later, and we got this angry, you know, grizzled Kofi who's just so fed up with the shit that Xavier's been dishing, especially with not helping people when he feels like they should. And he snapped. They both snapped. Like, they're both at that breaking point, and I think it could go either way. I think with the Triple H era, don't count out Kofi Kingston becoming a heel.
No, it's a really good point, especially like Big E is definitely going to be there, right? Like, I'm sure it's not confirmed, but like, we're going to just say he is. And you're going to have these two guys super angry, super fired up, super pissed off. Then you have Big E coming in like, hey guys, like, let's have our New Day reunion. He'll be like the middleman, and whoever snaps, he very well could take a bump. I mean, not a back bump or anything crazy, but it's interesting. Now that you bring up the Kofi thing, like, obviously everyone's like, oh, it's Xavier starting heel, Karrion Kross stuff, just everything adding up. It just kind of gradually just shows that Xavier's gonna be the heel. But those are good points about Kofi. Like, sometimes you never know what you have is, you've been a babyface your whole career and then you turn heel. And I mean, look at Dirty Dom. First year and a half, 2 years, he was a babyface. Now look at him. That guy's never going to be a babyface again. So, like, if you turn him heel and he just starts striking gold, who knows?
If he is in that ring, Big E has to take something from whoever's turning heel.
Yeah.
Has to, because that moment right there, his first time in the ring since his neck injury, his broken neck, like that is the moment. That is the moment that puts you at that almost Dirty Dom heat. Like that will get the nuclear heat. And I'm actually giddy to see like what happens, because they got something going with this New Day breakup.
They do. Dude, I can't wait for Raw. Like Survivor Series is so close, but because of like what can happen next Monday, I can't. I'm like, I've been waiting for this, especially with the buildup they've had, and it's coming. It's quick. It's going to be insane. Maybe they both turn heel. Maybe Big E stops, breaks them up. Xavier leaves and Kofi just snaps on him. I'm more like, I want the biggest swerve on the planet. I just want Kofi just to snap and just go heel. And maybe both, like I said, both go heel. But that's my vision for what's going to happen.
I also, before we change the subject, I also hope, because Big E has been on these these PLE pre-shows, I kind of hope they build the momentum up, because now we won't see Kofi or Xavier probably until Monday. So I kind of hope that it gets brought up on the pre-show if Big E's there. Like someone ask him, just so we can, it's still in everyone's heads, and maybe like even like Xavier or Kofi like join the pre-show just to keep it going, just to really build up towards Monday night. I think that'd be really cool.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's Triple H. He plants seeds everywhere. That's just like, you gotta have it. Gotta have it be discussed. Gotta have Big E maybe avoid the question altogether. Not want to talk about it. Be like, oh, you'll have to tune in Monday and see what happens. Those are my boys. They're gonna figure it out. We've been together 10 years. All that. It's going to be exciting. I mean, you're right. Like, it's something that I really like. If you told me 2 months ago that I would be excited about it, I'd probably laugh at you, because I'm like, oh, New Day splitting up. Like, it's about time. But this is doing it the right way.
Yeah. So we are going to lead into our rapid fire predictions for Survivor Series. Before we go into that, we're going to head towards our first segment of the night, which will be the bump of the week, which we haven't done in a little bit. But before we do that, we have a word from our sponsors over at Manscaped. And what a perfect time, because today is Black Friday. You have Cyber Monday coming up, and we're going to get into it with the usual heads up, boys and girls, and no, not the ones down there, you pigs. Listen up, forget your balls for a second. They're great. Don't worry. And meet the new MVP of your shower routine. Here it is, the scalp buffer. My hair's shorter again this time, so you can really see it flow. No, it's not just another razor or deodorant for the Southern Hemisphere. Those are great too. So perfect time. Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Go check it out. It's all about giving your scalp a little TLC. And like I said last time, not tables, ladders, and chairs. Let's talk about why this is the only silicone toy that you need in your shower. The Manscaped Scalp Buffer is a silicone grooming tool designed to exfoliate the scalp, stimulate blood flow, and enhance shampoo performance for a cleaner, healthier head of hair. And to move forward, it is not the usual bonus for Manscaped, because they are actually automatically putting on a 25% discount to all your carts on the website, because it is the holidays. This will last up until the second week of December. But if you please use our code REALMARKS so they can track that you guys are watching our show and we are driving the traffic to them. But you'll automatically get that 25% off, which is bigger than the 20% off that you were getting originally, because it is the holidays. It's a great time to go shopping. Buy the man in your life the best products known to man. You got the shampoo, conditioner, which literally has been used on my scalp for the last 2 months with the massager itself, the scalp buffer. So please join the 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped for all their grooming needs and get the scalp buffer and the conditioner shampoo combined today with the code REALMARKS.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. Manscaped. My God. What a company.
My God. So we're getting back into our first segment in a while with the bump of the week. And who wants to go first?
Court?
Yeah, and we discussed our bump of the weeks, and I just changed mine at the very last second.
Whoa!
And you might have to do a little creative video editing for this, but my bump of the week goes to my cousin, not that one. My cousin, Packy the Irish Banshee Balboa, fought last night in a boxing match. Beat the shit out of this kid from the Long Ducks for charity. He raised all his money for Long Island charity for Alzheimer's, dementia. Proud of you, Pack. You're my bump of the week. He's officially 1-0. Boom.
Boom.
All right. Wow. Okay. I was not expecting that change of pace. Wow. So, all right. You're just going to have to get me a clip of him knocking out that kid, and I'll get that up.
I got clips.
All right, cool. Mine is going to come from Full Gear, and it has got to be from that Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher match. You know, I was thinking about doing Big Justice doing that spear, but I decided to refrain from that one because that spear was devastating. He really brought the boom there. But my bump of the week is Will Ospreay taking that pile driver from the apron onto the steel steps outside. Yikes! That's all I have to say. Just watch the video, and you'll do the same thing.
That match was insane.
Unbelievable.
Like potential match of the year caliber match. It was crazy. We can maybe go into it later if we get to it, but insane.
And Kyle Fletcher won clean, which is mind blowing.
Yeah. And speaking of like Big Justice and that whole crew, man, I sat through like a 2-minute video of the Big Show and that group just doing this weird dance to their song, and I'm like, my brain is melting. That might be my bump of the week. My brain melting through my nose because of the video I watched with the Big Show and that whole crowd doing that dance. I'm like, what am I couldn't stop watching, but I'm like, between the song, the dancing, and I'm like, what? Like, how, like, bring us on to a pay-per-view. Like, I'll take bumps. Like, I've never wrestled a moment in my life. I guarantee I could put on a better match than that man. But I don't know. Whatever. I digress. My bump of the week is going to be also Full Gear. Swerve doing the swerve stomp to Bobby Lashley through the announce table. I thought that was epic. I loved every moment of it. And I just want to give the honorable mention that was originally Court's bump of the week, which was Braun Breaker spearing an announce table. That looked like it hurt. That looked like his sternum like imploded from that impact. But maybe it didn't even affect him, and the table's just limping away, all sad.
No,
sorry,
brutal. Bro. Like my buddy Woj, who's been on the podcast, he sent it to me. He's like, this dude is a freak. Like what the hell is that? Right into the corner, like just
right in the corner,
full blown.
Yeah, sorry.
Dude, the speed he had, I thought he was gonna kill Ludwig Kaiser. He was going so fast. I'm like, this man's gonna split Ludwig Kaiser in half, and then he smacks the corner of an announce table.
Yep.
Honorable mention. So go vote. You have Packy the Irish Balboa, Irish Banshee.
You got it.
Kicking ass charity boxing event. You have Kyle Fletcher hitting the pile driver onto the steel steps on
Will
Ospreay, thank you. And then you have Swerve doing the swerve stomp to Bobby Lashley through the announce table. And maybe if you want to vote for the honorable mention of
I'll throw it in there.
Braun Breaker just spearing an announce table.
But I have a question. Court, technically, isn't your bump of the week for the Ducks player that got the shit kicked out of him because he's the one taking the bump?
Technically, but I'm giving it to my cousin. I don't know the Ducks guy. I just kind of watched.
He's the one that took the bump. Your cousin did not take any bump. He just beat the shit out of a guy.
He took a couple shots, but he won all 3 rounds. So
there you go.
That's what I'm going with.
All right. So we're going to fly into our rapid fire predictions for Survivor Series this Saturday, aka tomorrow. Very excited. It's going to be epic. No traditional Survivor Series matches. As you know, we all are upset on this podcast. We hope they come back in the near future. But we're going to go with the first match that I'm remembering, which is the United States Championship match. We have LA Knight versus a returning Shinsuke Nakamura. Courtney Ryan, who's coming out on top?
She got full named. I'm gonna go with. I've said in the past. I think LA Knight it's still time. I love the Shinsuke stuff, but I'm going LA Knight. Yeah, to retain.
I am going with Shinsuke. There's no way that they bring in this man back just for him to get buried right away. He has this dark presence about him. He's got the face paint. There's absolutely no way that they're going to butcher this character again for Shinsuke. Shinsuke takes the win.
I second Justin. I think Shinsuke Nakamura comes out on top. New United States champion. This man has been done dirty the past year and a half. Mm-hmm. I can't see them bringing him back just to lose clean another time. Give this man a belt. Make him champion. Give him a nice presence, a dark presence on SmackDown, and let's roll into the future of the United States champion, Shinsuke Nakamura. Second up, we will go with the Intercontinental Championship match between Braun Breaker, Sheamus, and Ludwig Kaiser. We did not have a finish Monday night to the Intercontinental Championship between Ludwig Kaiser and Braun Breaker, who again speared an announce table. The announce table might have been the winner of that match, but and Adam Pearce, who is very fed up with all the mayhem and chaos that happens on Monday Night Raw, which when it goes 3 hours on Netflix, there probably will be more. Sorry. But who is going to come out on top? Justin, who is your pick for the new or still Intercontinental Champion at Survivor Series?
The dogs will be barking in Vancouver, BC. Braun Breaker retains.
Yeah, I'm going with Braun as well. I like the addition of Ludwig into this, singles move. I like it a lot, but Braun Breaker retains. Oh, and Sheamus is in the match too.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with also Braun Breaker. And still, I mean, the man is unhinged unless he's hurt from that spear to the announce table, which I still can't get over after watching that. I've never seen anything like that in professional wrestling in my life. I feel like the corner of that table went through his sternum. We might have a copycat Braun Breaker wrestling in this match on Saturday. But, yeah, he's retaining. The man has it. I can't see the steam stopping anytime soon. So I think he's going to roll through Survivor Series as our still Intercontinental Champion. I'm going to now roll into the Women's War Games match, which has now been updated to show our friend Bayley in the match as a replacement for Jade Cargill because she is apparently hurt and hurt for around 3 months. Who knows what that means for the Women's Tag Team Championships. But for now, we have Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Bayley, Naomi, and Io Sky versus Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, Candice LeRae. I'm going to say this. I think the heels are going to come out on top of this match.
Whoa.
You have both champions for SmackDown and Raw on that team. And honestly, what I think is going to happen, we're going to have a Tiffany Stratton cash in, maybe on Nia Jax, maybe on Liv Morgan. I'm saying Nia. That's what's happening. Justin, what are you thinking?
I'm going to go with the face women coming out on top here. Rhea's got her Cody Rhodes mask on her face. She's looking badass as always. And I think the face women come out, but then they leave them so battered and bruised. I think what you just said, Ty, might happen. I think we might get a cash in after the match, after the face women take the victory.
Yeah, this one I feel like is now I'm put in the middle here. You guys each took one. I'm gonna go with the heels too. I think you guys are right about a cash in. Don't know how, it's gonna work out, but just having both champions, it just feels stacked in that favor. And then on Raw they had Bianca's team come out with the advantage and all that, and I'm gonna go with the heels and a cash in. Like I said, I don't know how it's gonna go down, but heels.
All right. Now we have the World Heavyweight Championship match between Gunther, the defending reigning champion, and Damian Priest. Match number 2. Court, who you got?
Gunther. They're building up Damian to be, getting in his head and taking him down a little bit. Gunther's gonna come back like the animal he is, and he'll still be champ after Survivor Series.
Gunther. That's the answer, Gunther.
All right. I guess we're going to be in disagreement when I say Damian Priest is taking back his World Heavyweight Championship. Hear me out.
You're surprising me, man.
Hear me out.
I might have to hit the Skip Bayless button.
Yeah.
Hear me out. I ain't Skip Baylessing. I think they want people to think that since Damian's getting the edge over him week in and week out at this moment, that Gunther's the easy choice. But in my eyes, I think they're going to go with Damian has gotten under his skin. He's going to make a huge mistake, and it's going to cost him because at this moment, right, Gunther has been unstoppable. But since his loss to Cody, he's been knocked down a peg. This is the moment where you can make him vulnerable and lose so he can build himself back up to be that championship caliber wrestler that he's always been, so then he can win the title back. That is why I have chosen Damian Priest as the victor of this matchup.
Okay.
Not Skip Bayless thing.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll have to see.
And then finally,
Ooh, I like how you did that. I caught on. I like
finally, which is before we get into the finally, Court, where's Cody Rhodes in this? Where's he at on this card? This man's supposed to be the defending WWE Undisputed Champion, and I don't even see this man on this card.
It's okay. He'll be around. He'll be involved. Something will happen. Promo, something. He'll be there. You don't have a show without the champ. And you could say what you said before the show, that a champion will be on the show and he'll be good there and he's the world champion. Yeah. But no, Cody will be around. It's odd, but they're obviously building up Saturday Night's Main Event around Cody because it's on, national television and Cody's nationally known. So I'll go with that.
And you're saying who's not nationally known?
Everyone else. No, I don't know, guys. What do you want me to say? I don't book it. Triple H, put him in something.
Put him in something. All right. So finally, the last match of the night will be the last match of the night. We have the OG Bloodline with CM Punk versus the new Bloodline with Bronson Reed. Justin, who are you thinking?
I'm going to still go with the Bloodline 2.0. I don't know why. I don't know how, but I feel like something's going to happen. Finally, maybe we get The Rock, who finally comes out and shows that he is the head honcho, the actual tribal chief, and helps out the Bloodline 2.0. I don't know why. I know we said the last time that's why Bloodline 2.0 had to win to get to Survivor Series. But for some reason, I still think Bloodline 2.0 comes out on top.
Yeah, I'm actually in agreement with you, but for a different reason. Obviously, we saw on SmackDown that CM Punk is the final member of the OG Bloodline team. CM Punk has had some problems with Seth Rollins in the past. Who else has Seth Rollins had problems with? Roman, Bloodline. Seth's going to get involved. Maybe that guy Dwayne you talked about. But I think any kind of involvement will cause the new Bloodline to take the win.
I feel so differently. I feel like this is one moment where the OG Bloodline can actually have a win and it not tarnish like the feud going forward. Because even if, this war turns out with the OG Bloodline winning, Roman still has a score to settle with Solo, with Jacob Fatu. I think this is a moment where they can win and it's not going to tarnish this feud. And personally, I hope this is my what I wish would happen, which it wouldn't because it would not make any sense at all. But I would love for CM Punk to screw over the OG Bloodline at the command of Paul Heyman. But Paul Heyman isn't going to do that because Bloodline 2.0 put Paul Heyman through a damn table, and that man's not just going to forgive that. That's why I'm not leaning towards Bloodline 2.0. I think them having CM Punk on their team is more solidifying that victory. If Seth Rollins was on that team, I could see that happening where Bloodline 2.0 wins. But since they did not go that route, OG Bloodline for the win.
Do you think that obviously there's that history with Punk and Paul Heyman? And in Punk's first promo back on Monday Night Raw after Survivor Series last year, he acknowledged Roman. He said, "I acknowledge you, but just remember who the OG Paul Heyman guy was." Do you think I mean, I don't think he's going to turn on Roman, but do you think that there's going to be a tiff there where Paul Heyman's like, stop, and that might cost them the match, between Punk and Roman? Because Roman said, I don't trust you, and Punk said, you don't have to. I'm doing this for him. Because, I mean, Paul Heyman said, take me with you when Roman was gone, and Punk was about to fight Bloodline 2.0. So, do you think there's something there with Roman and Punk, and that's what kind of happens?
Well, I think for SmackDown tonight, they're going to have a sit down. And I think for me, when the sit down happens, that's going to explain everything. What's said, the interaction, how it plays out is really going to determine my actual prediction. But I don't know. I think Roman is going to be hesitant. I think they're going to bring back the whole CM Punk possibly have built the Shield angle because that was never resolved back in those days because we never knew, it was always speculation. So I think we're going to see things come full circle. I think maybe we find out that Punk was behind the Shield invasion and the mayhem that ensued. And maybe that CM Punk has always, been in Roman's corner because of Paul Heyman. There's a lot that can happen. There's a lot. I'm curious to see how it goes. There's really no bad blood between Punk and Roman. Like I said, if Bloodline 2.0 didn't put Paul Heyman through a table, I could see it going the way of CM Punk screwing over the OG Bloodline. But even maybe Paul Heyman could be mad that Roman wasn't there to help him during that time when he got put through the table. So there's many different directions this can go. But I don't know. Like I said, my prediction is this is going to be a clean OG Bloodline win. And I think CM Punk helps that victory. And who knows what's next for CM Punk?
Yeah, it's a really good point. I didn't even think about the Shield thing. Totally forgot about that.
So, yeah, I guess those are the rapid fire predictions for Survivor Series. Let us know your thoughts on our social medias. Who you think is going to come out on top of all of these matches? Who will be champion? Who will lose? Will there be a cash-in? We will find out tomorrow night at Survivor Series. So we're going to head into our second segment of the night, which is one of my personal favorites, which is This Day in Wrestling, November 29th. On this day, November 29th, 1999, Triple H interrupted the wedding of what two individuals by showcasing a video package of him marrying the woman in question earlier in the week in Las Vegas.
Oh, you felt like giving us okay.
Yeah. Oh, Court. So, do you want to say one person? I'll say the other person.
All right, which one do you want?
Whoever you don't want. You say the first person. I'll take the second.
I'll take Steph.
And I'll take Test.
Yes.
Ding, ding, ding. Let's go.
Hey-o.
I was saying you wanted to give us a little softball because we've been giving you shit about how hard these questions have been.
Right,
I'll take the softball. I'll take the softball. I'll take the win.
All right, how about this one? There's not many on this day in wrestling, but there's a few. And this is probably the last one I'm going to do because the other two are kind of This day, November 29th, 2010, Raw, Philadelphia. Who beat John Morrison to become the King of the Ring?
Ooh, man. 2010 King of the Ring.
John Morrison.
Ah, man.
Yeah, I have a guess, but I don't know if it's right.
Just guess. You can't.
Del Rio?
Nope.
It's gonna be my second guess.
2010. So that's the year I graduated high school. Daniel Bryan?
Oh wait, can I have a second guess?
Yeah,
because
of course you
I
can.
had two guesses. Sheamus.
Correct.
Oh,
Ding, ding, ding.
there you
Sheamus
go.
defeated John Morrison to become the 2010 King of the Ring, which was a year later because I think 2009 he beat John Cena to become WWE champion. That man was on fire back in those days. And now he might be your new Intercontinental champion tomorrow night. And then collect, like Thanos, all of the title belts in WWE to become the Mad Titan Sheamus. And then we have a few notable birthdays for November 29th. We have John Bradshaw Layfield at 1966. We have Jerry the King Lawler, 1949. And finally, Mean Gene Okerlund, 1942. So happy birthday to the three of them. Three pretty epic birthdays, not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's a nice lineup for sure.
You guys got your first question right. I'm excited.
Court went 2 for 2 there. That was a nice pull.
I'm so mad about the Del Rio thing because I was going Sheamus and then I again did a change up and I could have just nailed it on the first try, but okay, it's fair.
Yeah.
Proud
All right,
myself.
we're gonna wrap this up with some full gear talk. We got to give AEW some love or some hate, whatever we want to give it nowadays. But the one thing I want to talk about, and then you guys can expand if you want to other things, but Bobby Lashley, the Hurt Syndicate, about to take over AEW, which I think is huge. I think it's a great thing for Bobby. Bobby's become a huge household name. He's super professional. He kicks ass. It was surprising to me that, it wasn't surprising to me that he beat Swerve Strickland, but to me, like, they've built up Swerve so much. And like he's just like kind of like on the downfall now, unless they bring him into the Hurt Syndicate, which to me at that point, this guy who was AEW World Champion, who was on top of the world, everyone sharing his name, is now going to play second fiddle to Bobby Lashley. But they put on a hell of a match. Bobby came out, knocked him out with the Master Lock, and it was I don't know, it's just like to me. Not sour taste in my mouth, but a weird way to go, especially to knock him out like that. I feel like it should have been not clean. But again, I guess Bobby Lashley is Bobby Lashley. Justin, I don't know how you felt about that.
I like you said, Bobby Lashley is Bobby Lashley. And I thought having his debut match on Dynamite against a guy named Cheeseburger was kind of weird. I know it was a 2-on-1, and he completely destroyed them. It was a squash match. But for his first real victory to be against their former champion, Swerve Strickland, that's huge. And that's huge for the Hurt Syndicate. But like you just said, Swerve is now like falling. Like after this hot rivalry between Hangman and Swerve, Hangman lost too. Hangman lost to Jay White. So like what's going on with these two guys? Like they both were in the hottest feud in AEW and now they're both losing pay-per-view matches. That's just, and that doesn't ring a bell to me. Like it doesn't make sense to me. But as for Bobby Lashley, you can't lose that match. So like you said, hopefully, Swerve ends up joining, but they went after Prince Nana. So I don't understand where they're going with it. It doesn't really make sense to me, but obviously there was literally only one option there, and that was Lashley winning that match.
Yeah, but I feel like, of course he's going to win because he's coming in. He's the fresh talent. I mean, the new AEW talent. He's obviously a household name, been around forever. So he's going to win. But did he have to, like Ty said, choke him out? Like, did he have to get knocked out completely? Like, it just seems like a weird route. Unless they use that as, fuel to, again, get him to join the Hurt Syndicate, sorry. And I don't know. It's weird. It's something I have a problem with AEW about. It's the booking, just no longevity at all. But I'm trying to be nice.
No, it's true. Like I look at this and like I see titles change so quickly. Like some of these reigns don't even get like to flourish as well as I feel like they can be. And like one that I feel like should be over by now is like Mercedes Moné as TBS champion. And like they just like, I mean, I love Sasha. I love Mercedes. Like, I've always been a fan, but like for me, like I feel like she needs something new in AEW. And I think she needs to drop the championship to someone who, could come up as a shock. That's a different story. But I kind of want to rewind a little bit to, again, Jay White, Hangman, Adam Page. I think it was their second match of Full Gear, and Hangman lost again. He's 0-2 against Jay White. Like,
yep.
Like we're not gonna have like a rubber match. Like I feel like that's like a silver platter. Like, oh, if Jay won this one and Hangman wins this one, we have a third guaranteed match. And they could put on a clinic like Swerve and him did. Like I don't know, man. I'm very confused with some of the booking choices.
I truthfully think because we all know Tony Khan's an X guy. He's on the bird machine. He is scrolling. He's scrolling. He's searching his name, looking for people to talk shit about him. I think people we're like, why are they putting Jay White in this joke of a spot with the Bang Bang Scissor Gang and all this like comedic whatnot. Like he was at the top in New Japan. He was the leader of the fucking Bullet Club. And now he was in comedic promos and segments with a bullet, like a cardboard cutout of himself. But so now, he's back from his injury. And now I think he wants to show, all right, I might've fucked up there. Let's show that he's strong and show him what he can do. But now you're burying Hangman Adam Page. So it's like, pick someone else, man. It makes no sense.
Yeah, like there's got to be another way. Like there's just got to be another way. That's the frustrating thing about AEW. I mean, they do have the best wrestlers. The talent pool is insane, but just sometimes the booking just completely baffles me. And you have a big show like this, and you have all this talent on the paper, and this is what you mishmash, and that's what you come up with. Like, there has to be a better way.
And even, like, with the AEW World Championship and, like, the Death Riders, what a great name. I was on TikTok, and this kid was talking about, how he liked it and, like, why do people hate it? And I'm like, the execution's awful. It's awful. Like, I'm pretty sure I spoke about this before. Who knows? Like, I speak about it in my head all the time when I see this shit. What if the Shield went after the New Day instead of what they went after? What if Nexus, instead of destroying Raw's main event, went after, like, I don't know, like Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch instead? Like, what was this choice? Like, why is it the mid card? You have Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli, who are huge names, and Jon Moxley, who was a staple for AEW, was main event guy, beginning of the freaking run of AEW, is in there, dropped WWE to go here, and you need to make him come down to fight and beat up low mid carders? Like, what is that choice? It should be Hangman. It should be the Elite. It should be Swerve. It should be all of them that should be getting attacked. Because what kind of impact are you making? Like no disrespect to Orange Cassidy, to Darby Allin. They're fucking awesome. But right now, in this moment, they're overshadowed by the likes of Will Ospreay, of the Elite, of the people I all just mentioned. And like, it's just like, I don't get it. I really don't understand what this decision was. And they're riding behind it because, Darby Allin looks like he's next, but they're just going to like, what, have this go the length until they take out like the 4 pillars? Is MJF last? Like, are they going to go after Jack Perry, who just lost his TNT championship? Like, to Daniel Garcia? Like, I don't get it. I don't know. Someone take over. I have no thought process of how this is working out.
You brought up Darby Allin, and I just want to bring up another honorable mention bump of the week. That dude drove a car 85 miles an hour into another car, and he was the driver. He was just front seat, I'm just going to crash into this car. Cheat code, everyone. Cheat code.
You guys were very helpful with that one. I couldn't think my bump of the week before. Anyway, but no, Ty, you're absolutely right. Like, it's really frustrating because it's just, to me and to us, like, obviously we're not in his position. We don't have a company to run. But just looking at the names, like Jon Moxley against Orange Cassidy at a huge pay-per-view where you still have to pay full price, by the way, for these pay-per-views. Why? Do Mox and Claudio against the Young Bucks, like against Nicholas and Matthew. Like, just like it's mind-boggling. It doesn't make sense. It's something they really need to work on. I don't know if they care. I don't think they care. I don't think Tony Khan cares at all. I think he's just like, look, this is my company. This is how I'm going to do it. But to a wrestling fan like us, at least the 3 of us, I think we can be in agreement. We like to have things make sense. I don't like just to see 2 things happen just because, they'll put on a banger match. Yeah, that's great. Give me some substance. God.
Yeah. And like, to just put the icing on the cake with MJF and like Roderick Strong, like, why?
I've lost all interest in MJF recently. He was the hottest act going in professional wrestling. And now, like, I could care less about him and Adam Cole. I could care less about him and Roderick Strong. I'm so disinterested in anything MJF right now.
But even Kyle O'Reilly coming out to like be mad at Adam Cole for what? So Adam Cole can have like a side quest to Kyle O'Reilly before he fights MJF.
Takes out the Undisputed Era.
And then Kyle O'Reilly comes out and no one gives a shit. Every time he's come out recently, no one gives 2 shits about what he has to say, why he's out there, which, like, not to like shit on Kyle O'Reilly, but like, he hasn't really done anything for people to get behind him, to want to root for him, to want to take his side. So like, the only reason why you're pairing them all together is because they were on NXT together in the Undisputed Era. Like, that's the only reason. And in AEW world, that does not make any sense.
And can we just talk about that main event, like the end of the main event?
Yeah.
What a shit show that turned into. There was just, I mean, like, that was actually the end of that match. Like, where you had all of a sudden, you just had all the run-ins from left and right, from obviously, they're not the Blackpool Combat Club anymore. They're, what's the name? What's Moxley's group called? The
Death Riders.
Death Riders. Yeah, the Death Riders come out. Then you have Willow Nightingale coming out. And then you have Christian Cage, who looks like he's about to sign his contract. It just got so messy towards the end. Then you had Jay White come out again. It's just like, what is going on? And then you just have Darby Allin causing a car crash. It was a car crash of a main event that ended with a legitimate car crash.
And don't forget about Cassidy almost getting cleaning solution poisoned.
Yeah, dude, it was like I was so confused with that main event. I just had no idea what the hell was going on. like it was a good match between Orange Cassidy and Moxley until the end. The end just totally threw me off of every scent of goodness I had with that main event.
Yeah.
I feel like I can imagine Tony Khan sitting in the back doing the Vince like, this is good shit. This is such good shit.
Yeah,
Like,
for real.
And it's just garbage. Like, but in his brain, that's, oh my God, this is incredible. And we're all sitting here like, this is a shit show.
They should already have Will Ospreay on target to beat Moxley for the title. Like that's the only way for me to save this. Will Ospreay, he fucking, and Justin, you were the first one to really be on the bandwagon, but like he puts on banger after banger. He puts his body on the line and he goes full force, man. Like look at that match with Kyle Fletcher. Like they just drilled each other. They held nothing back. They definitely hurt the hell out of each other. And it was what I enjoy in wrestling. Like they really put on a clinic, and he does that every match. And that man should be the champion of that brand. That's the direction. Like if you want to have, the title for the best wrestlers and the best wrestling matches, that's your guy. That is the man. Like he does good promos. Him and MJF had a great promo war. Like he's got it. They got to pull the trigger on that guy this moment right now. Like have Darby lose to Jon Moxley, have Will Ospreay step up and take that championship.
And as much as when Ospreay was a free agent, as much as I wanted to see him in WWE, a part of me now realizes like he would have been so toned down inside the ring. Like you wouldn't see half the shit that he's doing in these AEW matches in a WWE ring.
No.
So I mean, I kind of understand why he went that route. And obviously Tony Khan threw him the bag, but I'm curious to see what those matches would look like inside a WWE ring rather than what he's doing, because like my bump of the week, I don't think you see that inside a WWE ring.
No, not at all.
No.
And I think that even with MJF too, like if he goes to WWE, they're just going to tone him down. Maybe not, like, especially with the Netflix deal, I feel like maybe that's an opportunity for them to really go balls to the walls, especially with this new hardcore title they're bringing back, because maybe they're going more, as Court and I talked about last week, like TV 14 or 13 or whatever it is. But the mold they have can be capped at WWE, but with AEW, at least they have full momentum to do whatever the hell they want, at least right now.
And then to another thing that I just saw. So this is, I guess, breaking with AEW. So it's on brand with what's going on right now. Clearly, we all saw that Ricky Starks made a surprise entrance to GCW inside the American Mall in East Rutherford, New Jersey, right down the road from Full Gear. And then it was he cut a sick promo saying that he's in his 30s. He's being wasted right now. He's healthy. He wants to get back in the ring. He doesn't understand why he's being froze out from AEW. And then they announced for GCW him versus Cardona. And it just was announced that AEW has pulled Ricky Starks from that match, and they are refusing to let him do that match. So that match is now no longer on the table.
Dude. And he was on Chris Van Fleet. Like,
Yeah.
He was super professional. He didn't want to bring up any bad things about AEW. He just said, I don't want to be home, and I'm sitting at home. I'm in my prime. I'm just sitting, and I don't want to be. And the ball's in their court. How do you, as a company, have the conscience to hold someone back if you're not using them? And that, to me, right there, Justin, that you just announced, is a vicious and kind of unprofessional way of not allowing someone who's on your roster to do what they love. Meanwhile, you let everyone else on your roster go do GCW and ROH and TNA and New Japan. So to me, that is some bad shit that's going on over there.
Yeah, I didn't listen to the whole interview with Chris Van Fleet, but the clips that I saw were, like Ty said, so professional. he was asked point blank, are you still under contract? He's like, yeah. And I want to just work. He's like, I just want to wrestle. I got into this business to wrestle. I didn't get in this business to collect a paycheck and sit in my house and watch wrestling on TV. I got, to be a wrestler. And it's just so messed up in my opinion because, not to bring Cody into it, but they did talk about, their relationship and how he was at the Rumble last year and how he was at Mania and he's like, who else was there? Like guys like, Chris was like, oh, Dustin. He's like, yeah. And Aaron Solo and QT Marshall, and Tony knew we were all going to be there. And he said whether we read that wrong or not, he said we could go. So, I don't know what's going on. It's not fair. It's not right. If you're not going to use the guy, let him go. You're afraid of what WWE is going to do with him. Okay, then do something with him now. It doesn't make sense. It's not fair. The guy's got crazy talent. I want to see him kill it.
Crazy time, man. Tony went from trying to change the wrestling game to just bringing all these contracts in just to hold people back at this point. And it's sad. It really is. It's, why be so, why attack people for not being used and wanting to do something and show what they have? It's just that's why even with those long ass pay-per-views that they have, it's just you take all this time and you have this huge roster, yet you only have a quarter of your actual roster being highlighted, and you still take all that time. Let the people go that you're not using and let them do their thing. It makes no sense. Do we know how long his contract is around for with AEW?
Yeah, so it just came out that he's still under contract until either the spring or summer of 2025.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, there's months left on that contract. Months. And I just want to, we know how we just brought up how long AEW shows are. So while watching, I said AEW pay-per-views go on way too long. The crowd seemed dead Ricochet and Takeshita. The crowd was dead. I don't care what you say. I don't have to be in there to hear that there was no crowd for that match. A guy came at me on X and said, so this is to you, Sean, or at Drew227. It said, so all the flood of replies in my messages that people are I don't care if people are investing their money in the merch and the food. Great, awesome. I was there at Grand Slam. That shit went on way too long. On a Wednesday night, sure, Saturday night, but still 12:30 in the fucking morning. Come on, Sean. Let's be better than that. You were there, sat in your seat at 7 p.m., and you just sat through a 7-hour show. You're telling me you weren't tired at all, especially after Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher stole the show halfway through? Come on, man. That's all I'm saying. The shows are going way too long. Come on. Just be honest. Come on.
WrestleMania was done before 11 p.m. when Court and I were there.
Split it into 2 nights. Whatever. Do it. That works.
It's crazy. We were good. It was a 5-hour, 6-hour show, with the pre-show and everything. Ended at 11. It was perfect. I think towards the end it got a little, a little much. But once the main event started, we were back in it. I think it could have went a little less, but at the same time, it's WrestleMania. I'm not gonna knock WrestleMania because it's the best card in professional wrestling all year. So it was awesome. Yeah. And WrestleMania, if that can end at before 11 p.m., I think so can AEW Full Gear.
Yeah. So this guy, literally, I think he was saying that I'm a WWE lover and I hate AEW. I don't hate AEW. If WWE put on a 7-hour No Mercy, I'd be like, what the hell is going on? Stop. Stop. It just, there's no need. There's no need for it. And you know what? QT Marshall and Big AJ, put them on Dynamite. Get your ratings up on Dynamite. Come on, guys. Jesus Christ.
Apparently that clip was watched a ridiculous amount of times.
Yeah. Well, no one's watching Dynamite, so put it on Dynamite. Get the ratings up. Jesus Christmas.
It still breaks my brain like it broke ties before. I don't understand. It's all over my TikTok. I don't.
I don't get it either.
I don't think we're the right demographic.
No, they do not do it for me. But people love him. People are behind him, and they took the shot.
He did fight. He did fight that whole match on a broken foot. I'll give him that.
True.
The guy used to wrestle. I got to give him props. He used to be like an indie guy. Apparently, he had a couple tryouts in OVW and stuff. Like so I can't. He didn't just jump into wrestling because he did. He did. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good time for us to wrap up. We don't want to go as long as AEW pay-per-view, so we're gonna roll this one up. Thank you all for tuning in. Give us your thoughts on who's going to win Survivor Series, your thoughts on the current state of AEW and what happened at Full Gear, this New Day implosion that's going to happen, who's going to be the first Intercontinental Women's Champion in WWE history. Make sure to reach out to us on all social medias at Real Marks of LI, and we will react and reach out to you. We have the bump of the week back, so make sure to go and vote for your bump of the week. And as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one. Real Marks out.